Hey, welcome back to my video tutorial, and today we are going to continue where we left off. This is the part 4 of wait. So in today's tutorial, we're going to continue from the variables. We have seen how to use variable in JavaScript, and today we are going to continue seeing more of the other content we have today. So this is JavaScript for beginners, and let's go. So from the previous tutorials, we've seen how to name variable, and we have seen that we have camel curls, which is pretty much of combining the verb. You can see that here I have user and name. You can combine name, and the second name is going to start with the capital letter, and that is what we call camel curls. So we have also covered the constant, and we have seen that constant are type of variables that is not going to change throughout the entire program execution. So with that said, now we are going to continue seeing more stuff today. And if you have a question, please go back to the previous video and check it out. So from the previous video, we discussed about the data type and how JavaScript really doesn't care about the data type. And I have said, like, if we have variable, let's say age here, we can pass it to an integer. And if you don't know about integer, it's a number that is not divisible, or that is not a float, or that doesn't have point in it. And that is an integer. So you can see my variable here, which is age, has an integer of 23. So, but I can even make it to be a float without changing the data type of the variable, which make it, much more dynamic. Unlike the other programming language, such as Java and the other programming language, where you have to define the data type of every variable you have. So for JavaScript, really doesn't care about defining the data type of variable. So even though in the latest JavaScript, such as TypeScript, you can define data type, but that is entirely optional to do so. So which means that a variable can be assigned to be a name, which is a string, can be assigned to an integer, float, and so on, or a number, and anything really. Um, so with that, then we can do math. You can define the variable and just have mathematical operation on that variable. In that case, JavaScript is really so safe to do so. Um, because it is just knows that a variable is a string, is a number, is an integer, is a float. It knows that, so it is so safe to do operations. So now, as you can guess, we can combine variables. Maybe you can say we have a name, which is going to be my name, which is this a variable, and we can define another variable, which is second name, and we can say second name. Now we can do an operation on variables. Let's use our console.log, which we all know and love. And let's take the name, then plus the second name. So let's see what happened actually. So as you know, to compile the JavaScript code, you need to write in a terminal, you need to write node index.js, which is the file name of the file you're calling. So you can see that combining the string is not possible. Yes, but what about if we change the integer, this to integer? What happened? So let's find out. And it's going to give also, let me see, there is a bug somewhere. Let me find a bug, there's a problem somewhere. So let me comment all of those code. Just do like this. On the index, yes, it's going to be fine. So now let's combine our variable, and we are going to have 46, which is the sum of these two numbers. So the same things can be done to a string. You can have a string here, and you can have the second string, and if you want to combine them, you can have it. It's going to combine those strings. So that is how you can do an operation on a string and have the result of that string or that variables you're trying to have an operation about. So, and obviously you can even have a variable which is maybe Boolean variable. It's going to be true. So this should be, a true variable. This is a Boolean variable. So you can I want to make a note on a variable. Actually, if I say let age go to now, actually now doesn't have any, doesn't belong to any data type described above, like the data type you have seen, which can be a Boolean, string, or integer, flat. So actually NAR is not any of the data type, which means that in JavaScript, node is not a reference to any or to an existing object, right? So it's a null pointer in another language. So we can consider it as a special value which represents absolutely nothing or empty space or unknown values, which means that if I comment this out and I try to put these things here, of course it's going to print null, which is an empty value. So everything that is not assigned is null value in JavaScript. So there's two things we covered here: defining variable and assigning the value to a variable, and also have that variable being used somewhere such as console.log. And we have also covered the type of like JavaScript doesn't define the data type of variable, but which gives more flexibility to define a variable and assign whatever things you want to assign to, except null. You can do so, but we have also seen that null variable is not representational of anything in a programming language. It's an empty space or an empty value or unknown. So now there's a time you may need to now know what is the type of this name. So now in that case you can say what is the type of name. Okay, we like somehow you want to know like what this variable has as a data type. So let's just try see. But my guess is that because this variable has the string assigned to it, and this variable become to be of the data type of a string. If we do that, you can see that we have the data type of a string. What about if I do this type of Boolean variable here? So the data type is going to be obviously a Boolean. So you can see that JavaScript is pretty much clever to to identify the data type that value has. So whatever value data type has, that is what a variable is going to have. So which means that a variable is nothing. It takes a data type when it is being assigned or when it is being given a value. So what did we cover? Um, so actually there is, up to 8 data type in JavaScript. So we have number, we have, digit or big integers, we have string, we have Boolean, and we have null, and we have also undefined, which can also be null sometimes. And so now, uh, and I think we have also covered also how to know the data type of a variable you are using in your program. So in the next video, we are going to cover more of JavaScript again and try to go in depth about what we have covered today. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Subscribe and share to your friends, and let's cover the JavaScript together. See you next time.